Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm just loving it.
You are completely back to normal.
I don't think that's possible.
Well, yeah, that we didn't start with.
No, but yeah, I'm doing good.
Good.
I haven't. I actually was out there doing physical labor yesterday in the yard, wheelbarrowing stuff around, and no problem.
Good.
Except getting old, but that's okay.
That's beats the alternative.
Yes, that's right.
Gal and Nick will probably join us shortly. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype.
Are they stuck in traffic?
I have no idea. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Streaming. It's streaming. So I had a situation, well, it's still going on. Friday night, I noticed, oh, it's not streaming. The reruns, which run on AT&T. It uses Uverse. I'm looking at the modem, and the two broadband lights that they have are just flickering back and forth red. And I said, okay, let's restart it. So I did, same thing. And then I thought, oh, on Thursday and Friday, there were crews outside again, digging and running more fiber. And I'll bet that one of them cut a wire somewhere.
Or they're in the middle of splicing something and they screwed something up.
Well, no, they were these were not the technicians that do the thing. These are just the crews that run the
burying the wire cable.
So I called AT&T, and so did you restart your router? I said yes, and I really don't think it's internal. It's probably external. And I told him. And he said, well, let's reset your router. I said, say what? He said, just reach in the back and press it for 30 seconds. I said, that's going to erase all the settings. He said, yes. I said, no, thank you. I would love to talk to somebody that knows better than just reading cards. Don't take it personally. But I had a lot of problems setting up this router when I got it. And I don't want to go through that again with you guys. So I have an appointment. The earliest appointment is tomorrow between 12 and 4. So I said, okay. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. And I knew that tomorrow we have to leave here about 3 to go and get the second dose. And I said, that's fine. If they come, they come. If I'm not here, I said they need to call me. And I am, well, let's put it this way, 99.999% sure that it is not anywhere in the house. It's
Yeah.
outside. He could not connect to the router. He could not get any farther than their box.
Huh. Did they,
But
is this a commercial
yeah.
service or a residential service?
Oh no, it's residential.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm amazed that they're coming that fast.
Well, look, when it happens with Spectrum, knock on wood, because I mean, if the show goes off the air, I have no way to come back because I don't have the backup. So
Oh.
if Spectrum goes
Right.
out, then we're out. That's it. But when Spectrum goes out, and you let them know, they have somebody, even though they tell you, okay, yeah, tomorrow or something. A couple hours later, you see somebody outside going back and forth. There was a guy yesterday working on the box across the street. I said, okay, they found out. So I felt good about it. I went out. He was actually working there. There are two cabinets. There's one cabinet that's the Uverse, the high-speed internet, and there's a old cabinet that's the telephone line. And
They still have those?
yeah, they still have copper. And actually, we get it through copper. There are like 6 lines run under the road and coming into a pedestal on our side of the street, and then they come all the way to the house. That's from the days of the bulletin board when I had a whole bunch of lines. And what they did is they used one of those pairs, or 2, I have no idea, to run the Uverse service, and from the box that's on the side of the house where all those lines terminate, there's Cat 5 or 6 going into the house. So I went there and I said, are you here for telephones or internet? He said, I can do either. I said, great. So, but are you working on internet? He said, no, I'm working on somebody's problem with the phone. So apparently somebody in the neighborhood has a landline. And I told him, and he looked behind him. I said, yeah, you see, there's the copper, the fiber sticking out from the conduit. That's what they did yesterday. And he said, well, that may have something to do with what I'm working on now. We'll see.
Oh.
So I said,
Yeah.
well, maybe it'll get it. It did not get fixed. He was done, and he said, I can't do anything. You need to call AT&T service. I said, yeah, I did. He said, yeah, but if that fixes it, that'll be nice. It didn't.
I wonder if it's the fiber feeding the boxes,
No, because if the fiber feeding the boxes,
because everybody would be out.
there'll be a
Yeah.
bunch of people.
So you think
And
it was individual cables?
right.
Yeah.
And because we're sort of like isolated in a way, I know where it runs under the street, and they dug in between where it's going, where it makes the turn into the street and coming to us. They will not hurt anybody else because nobody else had that service installed from AT&T. There's no other tenant resident that has that, so it will only affect us. I guess we'll wait and see.
We're based on talking to several of my neighbors, when they finally light this up, which is coming. They've been out working. You can see them out by the entrance to the community where they've been splicing the cable and all that. So it won't be long before they are offering it. But there's going to be a mass move from Spectrum over to AT&T to try it.
To compete.
A lot of my neighbors, younger neighbors, have already gotten. They don't have cable TV. Some of them never did. So I don't know that the people who have the full bucket of Spectrum stuff will move over right away, but I'm ready, especially after how I was treated
Mhm.
with the turning in that equipment. They just didn't care. It's a shame.
Nick
But
just
the service has been flaky. I mean, there are times when it'll just get really slow, and you'll put in a search, and it'll sit there and sit there, and I reset all my stuff. It's still slow, and then suddenly it'll start to work again. But
Nick is saying, send me a message, says, lost my voice, trying to preserve it for against the norm. And I understand. So hope you'll have some for against the norm.
I know exactly where my Spectrum cable is.
What do you mean spectrum where it goes under?
Because it's exposed.
Oh geez, you're kidding.
Because yeah, we had all this with all the rain.
Yeah.
We had so much erosion between the two houses where the water comes down that it just washed away anything that was the cover. Cable was like 2 inches below the surface, and it just eroded it all down. It's just all gravel now, and you can see. Thank goodness it's an orange cable, so you can see it. But yeah, that's bad. I don't know if I can get AT&T to run it in a different direction. I have to do some landscaping in the front because it's messed up.
Our spectrum is in the air. It's it's underground all the way to a pedestal at the beginning of the driveway, and then it goes up a pole. And
yeah, they have to bury here. The whole neighborhood is all buried wires.
Yeah, the AT&T is under the driveway. And I wasn't here when they buried it, so I don't know how far, but never had a problem with cables being cut. That's just amazing.
They told me when I was working from home and I had to have a fax line added. I had there are pairs running under the road to my house, and we had a phone line. I added a business line, and then a fax line. They said we can't do it. What do you mean you can't do it? I said there aren't enough good pairs.
Wow.
So they actually ran a cable under the road to get to me, and it worked okay for a while, and then that deteriorated over time. It's still there, but it's probably not usable, and that's why they could never offer me DSL. They kept trying to sell me Uverse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can come. They'd make appointments. Oh yeah, we can get it. It's services available, and the guy would knock on my door because you have no service. So why? He says because the wires are so bad, and they're not going to run a new wire over to you. So, oh well. I'll be happy to get symmetrical service though with AT&T. That'll be fine.
Now, there was an article. Let's see if I kept it, which is interesting. Maybe I did not save it, but something about basic cable, basic internet. Yeah, I don't see it.
Oh, it was they were offering it for, and I keep getting the brochures, but I think it's still
no,
Uverse. It wasn't fiber.
Here it is. The federal government's definition of high-speed broadband has remained stagnant over the last 6 years, sitting at 25 megabits down and 3 megabits up since 2015. Faced with the pandemic-fueled network loads and a new push for infrastructure spending, lawmakers are getting ready to upgrade that definition. In a letter to government leaders Thursday, a bipartisan group of senators called for the quadrupling of base high-speed broadband delivery speed, making 100 megabits down and 100 megabits up the new base for high-speed broadband.
I know in Europe they've been at that
or
much better for
years.
A long time. I mean, I remember 15 years ago being
Yeah.
amazed
Yep.
at what people were getting.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it has to do with the way their electrical system is built.
Well, I mean, they're newer. They are also, a lot of it was wireless. So they used the
But
latest
the
over
way they
here.
build their electrical distribution grid
Yeah.
is different because they, instead of having individual transformers on poles,
Yeah.
they have a big transformer that serves the neighborhood, kind of a thing. It's a little bit different, so it's easier to upgrade. And a lot of the original internet in Europe, or some, I think in Great Britain, some areas was power over, or network over power.
Power.
They used the power line somehow. I don't know if it's still being used. Probably not good enough for really fast transmission.
Oh,
But
they come up
because
with technologies that do work over the power for higher, and higher.
it's good in that, but if you tried to distribute it to our neighborhood, it wouldn't work because of the way the distribution is. If you had if you were bringing it to a community, that means you would run it to that transformer, and then from there you'd break it out. But here you'd have to run it to every individual transformer,
Right.
which would be just way, way too expensive, or a technical hurdle they may not be able to get over.
Yeah. Good point.
Arnie was saying in a comment, he said that it's amazing how here we are, computers 2K now in one of the most technical areas of the country, and we have such trouble.
Yep. Good
I live in a community that has literally co-op power. It's not part of a local power company, the big Duke Energy grid. We have Apex Power. And that's part of the problem, is that when they were offering Google Fiber here, they said they were going to do it all over Raleigh and parts of Cary and Durham and all that. They signed up, but 3 times the city of Apex requested, can't you include us in this package that you're putting in? They said no. And I was like, why would you not do this? The little local towns near us were getting it too. Apex was excluded. And the reason was because we are a separate, independent, cooperative power company, and they didn't want to have to deal with a small entity. They would rather deal with Duke Energy, because then it's their rights of way and all the things they needed to do. And AT&T were all everywhere. So if they own the rights of way, if they have to purchase licenses or leases or whatever, they could deal with one person, one. In Apex, they didn't want to deal with a community of 30,000 people. So now we're 66,000.
And it's still not.
I moved here. When I moved here, there were 4,000 people in this town.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what else. Apple.
I have when the time is appropriate. I have a
no, go for
Windows
go
support issue.
Go for it. I mean, there's no.
So I had a new customer call me to say that they were there. I have a lot of accountant customers, and they all have their own unique set of issues. And part of it is that a lot of them use the same software, Quicken, QuickBooks. The customers use it, so they have to have access to those files and those services to do people's taxes, whether they do their bookkeeping or just do their taxes, whatever. So it's the same is true for people who have cloud-based services where they do tax preparation, all that. Internet Explorer, as you know, for a long, long time was one of the only supported browsers for many of these companies.
Right.
Did you know that Intuit with QuickBooks and Quicken, well, I don't know if Quicken, but QuickBooks still does not support any other browser but Internet Explorer?
You're kidding me.
I looked it up. I couldn't believe it. He has QuickBooks 2018. And I said, come on, really? Because the issue was that he accidentally uninstalled Internet Explorer 11 in Windows 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that if you do that, especially if you're at what are we at? 20H2 is the latest version
of what?
Of Windows 10.
I have no idea.
Or whatever it is. Whatever is the latest version. they've been trying to push Edge and making, so Windows Internet Explorer is not supported anymore, and there's all these issues with that. So QuickBooks still does not support another browser. I went and looked at the support forums to confirm this. I said, I can't believe this.
Mhm.
People were just losing their minds because they said, I can't, why are you still requiring us to use a browser that's not supported anymore?
Yeah.
And so the issue was that he tried to reinstall Windows or Internet Explorer on Windows 10. I found in the Microsoft support forums, people are losing it because a lot of people, there must have been some process that offered them an easy way to delete Internet Explorer. Why would you do it? Right? Why would you sit down and say, I'm going to delete it?
Yeah.
Unless there was some reason. So for whatever reason, all these people were deleting it. And then they find out that the bank that they belong to, or usually financial institutions, don't support any other browser. And so they go to Microsoft, and Microsoft is like, they don't want to deal with it. So you go and say, oh, how do you reinstall this? The first thing you do is try to just install it from an install file, which you can download. It's older. It's not by any means supported or new. That doesn't work. Normally in Windows 10, do you remember how in Windows 7 you had additional services?
Yeah.
You could click on a control panel. You go there and you click on ISS or whatever it was you wanted. Well, Internet Explorer 11 was there. Gone. Doesn't appear. You go to the apps, additional apps within Windows 10. Doesn't appear. You can select search for. Doesn't appear. The only thing I could do thank God this was the first thing that they suggested, and it worked. Because people have tried this, other people have tried this and did it. Scan for changes, SFC.
Mm-hmm.
Worked. And it brought it back so I could actually go to the app screen in Windows 10 and search for and find Windows Internet Explorer 11 and install it. And it worked. So it's like I was so happy. But there are people who can't do that. They've tried that. They've tried. The next step would be to go to, I'm trying to think of what the next one was. Ultimately, people were doing registry changes, and it's like, you can't expect the average person to go in there and type in all this command line stuff. I'm sorry. This is not acceptable.
But when Windows 10 came out, it did not have Explorer in it.
Well, then you could just install it. There was a version for it.
No,
right?
You had to, it was in there. You just had to go to Windows System 32 and find iExplore, which was there, and make a shortcut out of it. And that was when they kind of hid it.
Because if you went to Windows Accessories, you can go in now. I think I still have it on mine. Go in and look at Windows Accessories. It's there.
But did you? And it really did not work with Edge or Firefox or Chrome?
Nope. And I think the reason why is because I know several other people that are financial people.
Mm-hmm.
They have cloud-based access to the programs that they use, or in some cases, that requires an encryption device. You know how you have the USB key that you plug in for authentication, but it also does encryption. It has your encryption key in that physical USB drive. That would only work. But that authentication would only work with Internet Explorer 11. Mm-hmm. So there were updates that would come out while they were still supporting it for Internet Explorer that broke it, and you had to every time an update would come out, the customer would have to go and back out a specific update just to make the key work. Well, the company has since then opened up support for Chrome, and I think they did. I'm not sure that they still do Firefox, but Chrome works. But why can't Quicken?
There's no reason that it's there.
QuickBooks do this,
right?
And version 2020, QuickBooks 2020, does not support any other browsers.
I blame Intuit.
Oh yeah. because they just don't want to deal with more than one. And so if Windows Internet Explorer 11 hasn't changed in 2 years, it hasn't been supported, then they don't have to change anything.
Yeah. First, good morning, Gal.
I go.
Good morning. Sorry for joining late.
Oh, it's okay.
Two demerits.
Because I remember in the early days when we had even Windows 7, when we had the newer browsers. I mean, IE was always a problem. It was vulnerable. Everybody was attacking it and all that. The banks would say, I mean, the banks I was working with anyway, you have to use IE. And that wasn't true, because I would go to Chrome and it worked. I would go to Firefox and it would work. Now, granted, that was just logging into their website and doing stuff, not cloud services and all that. And many times I argued with them when I had a problem on that they told me to go and look at something, and he said, "Open IE." I said, I don't use IE. Oh, well, I can't help you. Oh, yes, you can. Let me get on the website. And I would go, and he said, "So you opened IE?" I said, "No, I'm using Chrome." He said, "And it works?" I said, "Yeah." I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, I can see if you have that thumb drive that has encryption in it that has to work with IE and other information, that they make it so they want to talk to their cousin on the in the memory. So yeah, that will make it not work. You're right. But you got it. And that's what's important.
What didn't work?
IE. Oh, Spence was talking about that customers were uninstalling Internet Explorer 11
Right.
because it's not supported anymore. And then when they go to QuickBooks to do the cloud thing, it will not work because Intuit says that they only support IE. And that created a problem where they couldn't get to their stuff.
So I had a customer who had uninstalled it and couldn't find a way to reinstall it again. So there were all these suggestions online. And it's funny how there was nobody from Microsoft was answering the question. It was just certified Microsoft experts who were suggesting things. And it was always the same thing. And people were saying, people would ask the question, you see at the end of the thread, it would say, "What is wrong with Microsoft? Why are they leaving us hanging out here like this?"
Yeah.
But it's not Microsoft. It's Microsoft's fault in that there's no way to roll back to 11 easily. But it's Intuit's fault for not supporting another browser. Really. I mean, that's just insane.
But it's interesting also because Intuit, I use Intuit through my accountant, right?
TurboTax.
So I connect.
Yeah.
Well, it's not TurboTax. It's called Link. I supply everything for them, and they prepare it through that. So it's a service of Intuit. They have Mint. They have TurboTax. All of those work.
Yeah.
From Chrome.
Isn't that weird? It's definitely. I went to the support page for QuickBooks, and it actually said on the version 2020, my customer had 18, but 2020 only Windows IE was supported.
That is weird.
So
Yeah.
I got to believe they have to be hearing this. I mean, it's no way that they're just ignoring this and think everything's great. But if anything, go with Edge. I mean, Edge seems to be really stable now. Go with Edge. I use Edge when
Edge and Chrome and Firefox, they're the same.
Yeah.
So it's not a.
If I have a problem opening a page, usually it's with Firefox. I go to Edge to open it and it works. So.
Yeah.
Did you try just overriding the user string? That didn't work?
No, it was one of those things that occasionally, usually it's a form. I'll have an online form and it will just not appear right, or you can't click on certain things, an online survey or whatever. And every once in a while, I'll just go over to Edge and it works. And it's not enough of a problem that I need to do anything about it. I mostly use on my one Windows PC, I use Firefox. On all my business stuff, I use Chrome.
Yep. Y'all. All right. Here is the situation. I see that Eleanor is in the chat. And I asked Eleanor to call in because she had a problem, and it is a weird, weird problem. Now, Eleanor, correct me if I'm wrong. The stove that you have is gas, correct? What's happening is she has an extender in the kitchen, close to the stove. When she brings her laptop into the kitchen to cook something from a recipe or something, when she turns the stove on, it goes blip blip, like something was just connected. And if you turn the stove off, it's blip blip. I mean, and I couldn't figure out why it would do that. I mean, a gas stove. Yes, she said it is gas. You turn on the gas stove and it affects Wi-Fi.
Now, does it use an electronic ignition device to light the gas? No, seriously.
Oh, that's
Does it
a
have a
good point.
sparker? I mean, does it? Maybe it's only when. So anytime the gas is on, it just does this.
But yet, I thought she was saying that when she turns it off, it does the other way. Am I right, Eleanor? So there are two questions here. Is it a sparking, what do you call it, piezo thing? You know, the thing that goes.
It's a plesio.
Yeah, it's a piezo.
Yeah, it generates a spark, or it's.
Does it have that? And was I right in saying that when you turn the gas off, it's like something disconnects? It just doesn't make sense. I thought
most gas stoves, except for the ignition part, where you control the oven, the igniter in the oven or the igniter on the top burners, is completely passive. You turn a valve, there's pressure, the gas comes out. There's usually no solenoid. There's a solenoid in the oven.
I would say that it doesn't have that. This is in an apartment building on 14th Street. Well, you know, one of the oldest neighborhoods in New York City. And, you know, knowing landlords there, they don't just put new. I mean, the old stoves were just as well. What else can it be? I mean,
it's a good question.
I thought that maybe the extender was right behind the stove, and the heat maybe would kind of like affect it, but it's not. It's weird, and I don't think. Oh, she said she thinks it's a pilot light. Oh no! So
yeah,
it does click.
Yeah, then there's no. It's not electronic.
No, and she said then it clicks to turn on the fire. So it's not. It is an electronic.
And she says that the sound comes from the PC, from the laptop.
Yeah, that's what she said. That it's just like when you plug in a thumb drive to the laptop and it will go. Beep, beep.
So maybe it's a Bluetooth stove. And it's connecting to the laptop.
I mean, I told her, I said, you know, you need to bring.
Does Bluetooth do a connection sound on the PC?
Usually, no.
Yeah.
I was being facetious.
No, I'm trying to think about what type of. The only thing I can think of is a device is plugged in, and a
Yeah.
device is plugged in. That's USB. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, those don't answer this. Bizarre.
Very
I mean,
bizarre.
if she's willing to pay for a plane ticket to New York, I'll be happy to test this.
No, have them send a limo down, and we'll all ride up together.
It's strange. Here she goes. When I turn on the stove, it makes the connect sound. When I turn the fire up, the disconnect sound comes on. Also, it does it when I bring the laptop back to the living room. But does it
Send
do?
Amnon some.
Wow.
Send Amnon a video from your phone while this is happening. Maybe
There's
we
a-
can
I think
notice something.
there's a product in today's specials that she might need to get.
Now,
It's a
question.
It's a bug detector.
Question.
Her house is bugged.
Wait. Question. I have a question. The stove is over 30 years old. I
From the
never,
future.
I never walk around with the laptop in the house. What happens when you go from one access point to another? Does it make?
Not in my experience, but I mean, that's why I wanted to see a video, because that'll show us the laptop. It'll also show probably what's running on it if it's in the right angle. I wonder if, other than the sound, there's some sort of notification, right?
Yeah, that's right. Eleanor, I forgot to ask that. When it does that sound, is there a little pop up on the bottom right that comes in and says such and such was just disconnected or connected, and then it goes away? Now you have to look at it right when it happens, because it only stays for a few seconds. It will kind of like sweep from the right, just come in and go back out, and tells you what goes there. Yeah, and there's an answer to your question, to your offer, God. It's just
I
well,
did a
okay.
search.
And Eli's saying, "What is the extender?" I think was it the? Did you end up getting the TP link, Eleanor, or the? Boy, it'll be so much easier if you call and we can talk. Or was it the another one? I don't see why that should make a difference. I mean, they're all.
I found this is a thing online. There are people searching for a solution to this. Seriously.
Really?
Computer makes an error noise when I use the stove. Right? Computer, let's see.
Wow.
Why does the screen go blank when the gas range is on?
How did
And
they?
people are talking about EMI, electronic interference from the igniter,
Doesn't
but the
make
igniter
sense,
doesn't
though.
run all the time. That's what's so weird about it. The igniter is just there for the ignite phase, and then you go to, you turn it down to the desired intensity of the gas.
Yeah, she said nope, no pop up. Just tried it again. So nothing comes in. So the igniter will do that.
It said that, yeah, the people here are looking for another stove that won't give them a problem, saying I'm getting some type of Wi-Fi induction Wi-Fi interference when I use my stove. There's stoves that are basically hardened, so this doesn't
wait
happen.
a second. Wait, that's her? Yeah, that's her. Eleanor. Hello? Oh, why doesn't it work? Oh, wait a second. Wait. No, that's it. Should work here. Let me try and see if I can call it.
I think the fact that you heard the Skype sound means that you should hear.
Yeah. Okay, here. I guess maybe I can like this. I never use this to call out. Here. I'm calling you, Eleanor. You just call a number. No, I don't want to. I want to call.
No, that's it.
There you are.
Hi, I'm here.
Hey. So, Eleanor, this gal is here, and Spence is here. Guys, meet Eleanor.
Hello, Eleanor.
Hi, everybody.
I think the fact that you heard the Skype sound means that
Sure.
Eleanor, you're going to have
Yes.
to mute the
I'm-
video of the show. Not.
Okay, I did.
Okay. So go ahead, Gal.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, can you are you able to reproduce it like immediately? Can we hear the sound?
Yeah, hold on, here we go. Well, I don't know if you'll hear this. Let's see if it works.
Yep.
No, you don't hear it because I'm muted.
No, we hear it. We heard the click, 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 click.
Yeah, but you're not hearing the sound on my computer.
Oh,
The
go,
audio.
okay.
Muted it,
So
yeah.
go ahead and no. All you should have muted was in the
Okay, I'm gonna-
video of the
I
show,
got you.
the speaker.
Yeah, I'm going to undo it. Okay, I got you. I did it the other way because it was faster. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. Hold on. You hear it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is definitely electronic ignition
Yeah.
because you hear
Is
it
that
click, click, click,
hysterical?
click, 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 click,
So,
click.
Eleanor, a question. When you light the stove, you turn it to the desired intensity level.
Yeah.
Does anything else happen until you turn it off again? You just get that sound only when it's lighting?
I get it. Yeah, again, when it's lighting, you have to light it all the way. And then when you turn it down to the desired level, I get the other sound as if it's disconnecting.
So
I'll try it
I
again.
actually
Hold on.
found there's a bunch of
No,
people
but wait,
online that
but wait a
same
second.
problem.
Hold it.
Yeah.
How long does it take from the time that you started and you get that noise until you turn it down? I mean, you need to wait a little bit because sometimes it doesn't detect anything right away. So turn it on. It'll make the noise.
Mhm.
Turn it on. Let's hear it. Oh, now it turned it off.
when it did it again.
Yeah, it turned it off before I actually turned down the fire this time. But I usually turn down the fire fairly quickly, so
Okay, let's
just
do it.
turns itself on and off. Yeah.
Let's do it
Hmm?
again without turning down the fire.
Okay.
Okay.
It keeps doing it.
Yeah,
Igniter.
It keeps doing it.
It's the
That's
igniter.
hysterical.
It's the igniter.
So weird.
That
You know,
is very
wow,
weird.
there's all kinds of stuff online about this. People complaining
Yeah.
about it, saying it happens. It's
Yeah,
and
it
in
sounds
most
like
cases-
an EMP thing, right? But
yeah, it's electromagnetic interference,
yeah.
and it's got to do with unshielded or not properly grounded. So Eleanor, you might want to check to see that where your stove is plugged into the wall, because it's a gas range. You just have a regular cord. You don't have any big fat cord like an electric range would have. But look at that plug and see if you know anybody that has a ground tester.
Wait a second. Does it have a plug or is it wired in?
Has to have a plug.
Oh.
Has to have a plug.
I don't really know. It's against the wall, and I can't pull it out by myself. I have to
probably
get
behind,
because it's
right.
probably got a
Right.
light. Oven probably has a light. The oven probably has an igniter. So it's got electronics in there that have to be powered. So,
Yeah, but the
Right.
plug is probably behind it, and the
Probably
stove is
behind it.
heavy.
but
Yeah.
the way to
Well,
check it would be
Let me
they make this.
Let me ask you this. Bottom line is it going to hurt either thing, the stove or the laptop, if this continues on like this?
No,
No.
No, the
Okay.
answer is flat out no.
Okay.
People have concerns sometimes about electromagnetic radiation and stuff like that. We're talking about. I've recently saw some videos about it. We're talking about frequencies that are of no harm, not to humans, not to machines. So we're good.
Okay.
It's just an annoyance.
Then, yeah, it's annoying, but it does make me laugh once in a while. But I won't get the landlord involved to move this if it's really not going to bother anything. Because once you start with that,
Yeah, you're good.
You could, one thing you could try is if you know anybody that has one of these plug-in ground check devices. It's a little thing you plug in the wall and it shows different colors to say whether your outlet is properly grounded. Now you might, is this an older apartment?
Yes.
So it probably, the wiring originally was not grounded. The newer standards call for the 3 plugs, and it may be it may be an actual grounded plug, but it may not be properly wired. So you can plug it into another outlet in your in your apartment and find out if the ground is no good. And that, because the things that I'm finding online say that this is a problem with the stove not being grounded properly.
And that can be a problem, right?
That can be a
you
problem.
do want to fix.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as I do that, I know it's a problem. All right, so that I can do. I can get somebody who can do a ground tester, and
yeah, you can buy it at Home Depot.
Yeah, I can buy one of those.
Yeah. So
okay,
I think
I will do that.
it's the
Eleanor, Brent is asking, any other USB devices hooked to the laptop?
No, that's not true. The mouse, I do use a wired mouse, and that's plugged in.
Okay.
Oh
no, you don't have any. You don't have any little
Disconnect the wired mouse and see if that
it's an
happens
antenna.
again.
No, it's a wireless,
exactly.
not wired. Got it.
No, I have a wired. I have a wired mouse.
Wired.
Oh.
Just,
So you want me to
for
take
fun,
it out and try it again?
Wait,
Eleanor,
got it.
just for fun, try
hold it.
unplug the mouse and try it again.
Okay, hold on. Not. All right, that was just the mouse unplugging.
Right.
Let's try. Holy crap!
I'll be damned.
Yeah,
didn't do
the
it.
mouse
That's
is
the
acting as an
antenna.
antenna.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, so what does this mean? Tell me.
It's
What?
the mouse is connected to the computer, and it is like a wire antenna because it's a cable, and so the mouse is acting like an antenna. And actually, when the stove starts, it's putting out electromagnetic radiation into the air. It's not dangerous. It's just the reason, but the mouse is actually detecting that and is telling the computer, "I found a new device."
You know what? There's another thing that you can probably try is while somebody's pressing the igniter on the stove, you can try moving your mouse and you can see, I'm pretty sure you'll see the mouse get stuck for a second and then it probably is interfering with the mouse connection itself.
So maybe
interesting.
Maybe it's bouncing. The mouse connection is what's bouncing on the computer.
Yep.
Going on and off.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
You guys are great.
Wow.
Oh, well, you are. Has nothing to do with this, but you are, all of you. This was great. Okay, so now at least I know what it is. And there's not a darn thing I can do about it except not bring the mouse in, just use the pad when I'm in the kitchen if I want.
Well,
you know what you could
it.
try? Just try a different mouse.
No, the wire is a wire.
Yeah.
Well, some inexpensive mice may not be insulated properly. Might not be shielded properly. So
Very true.
Try
and
a
I have
wireless
another mouse I can hook up and
with a
see
small
if it's a better
dongle.
one.
Might
try a wireless mouse.
Yeah.
I have some
Fabulous.
inexpensive. I used to go to a lot of trade shows, and one of the giveaways they'd have to stop in people's booths would be to give you a wired mouse, but they were really cheap. They would, they'd buy them for $1 a piece, and they give them out with their logo on it, but they're junk. So if you bought a good one, like a Logitech or something like that, wired mouse, it might work better. But that's just an idea. But this gets to be pretty interesting detective work.
Yeah, this is great.
You need to wrap
It's
your
basically acting
laptop
like
in
an
tinfoil.
antenna.
You need to wrap your laptop in foil and wear a foil hat.
Yeah, buy one of
Somebody
those
says try wearing
electrostatic
a tinfoil
blankets.
hat. That's great.
Wait, what did you say?
Oh.
What did you say, Gal?
Those thin aluminum-like
Yeah, oh,
blankets.
yeah.
Space blankets.
Space blanket.
Yeah,
Anybody watch Better Call Saul?
exactly.
There we go.
The
His
guy
brother
with
was supposedly allergic to electromagnetic energy, so he lined his entire inside of his house with foil.
Well, listen, while I have you guys, can I ask you another question?
No.
Yes.
Okay. So, apropos of your discussion about Spectrum, I got rid of Spectrum about a year ago for just so many reasons, and returned the modem, did what I had to do, and this ugly, ugly big white wire is sitting curled up in my apartment and all over the wall. So I unhooked it from the wire that leads to the box, so it's just a freestanding wire now. How do I cut it? It's behind furniture, so I don't want to move all the furniture to pull it out by the staples. I just want to cut it. What do I use to cut this big, thick wire?
Do you have an old pair of
What is
scissors?
that? Is it coax?
It's coax.
Yeah. But do you have an old pair of scissors that you don't really care too much about?
Or
like an old pair of really big shears?
Wait. Eleanor, you're handy. You're handy.
Yeah.
Don't you have a pair of pliers?
Yeah.
Doesn't it have a cutter in it?
Maybe.
The base of the
I
pliers.
didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I just want that thing out of here. It's so ugly. It gets in the way. Dust collector. Okay, I will try that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you so much for this. Another time I will ask you how on earth you're talking to me and the show is still going on, but we'll do that another time.
Where are you in the city?
I'm on 14th. Don't tell people where I live.
No.
14th Street is a huge.
What neighborhood are you in?
14th is a huge street.
I know.
Are you in downtown
yeah,
Manhattan?
it's the top of the lower east. It's the top of the Lower East Side where I am.
I used to. The last territory I covered when I worked in the city was Canal Street to 14th Street, river to river.
Oh,
when I was
fabulous.
a repairman for IBM, I used to walk that entire space.
Isn't it marvelous? It's changed a lot over the time I'm here.
I had customers on Broome Street back in I'm going to date myself, like 1980, when all of those old cast iron buildings were being converted into lofts and restaurants and stuff. That was the early NoHo.
Yeah, it's gentrified quite a bit in different neighborhoods. When I moved in where I am, it was half abandoned, and now it is just swarming with young people, swarming, and new buildings are going up. It's it's a city. It's going to change, but it is what it is. It's New York,
There was a business back then that I used to love called Urban Architecture. Do you know if they're still around? It was a place that was salvaged. They salvaged stuff.
Yeah, they've moved or they've gone out of business. I can't remember which one it was, but they had a big, wonderful store, and it closed. I think they went online only, if I remember correctly.
It was kind of tough to keep a showroom
going.
going.
Popped up afterwards, and they're all gone.
I almost bought a gargoyle there one time because they had a gargoyle on to buy, and I said, I don't have to get this home.
It's a great store. It's a fun place.
All right.
But thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. I enjoy watching you every Sunday. I obviously don't dial into the chat all the time, but maybe I will more often now.
Yeah, now that you got the gumption.
Now that I have your full attention.
All right, let's go to specials now. I know you like that.
Love the specials, Spence. I love them. I'm not going to tell you. I talk about them all the time. Thank you, all of you. Gal, Spence, Amnon, thank you.
Talk to you later.
I'll talk to you another time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Spence, are you ready for...
I am ready. And it's my great pleasure today to announce the first Computers 2K Now coloring contest of computer themes. So here are the first 3 pictures we're offering for coloring. We have fabulous prizes planned.
There's that wired, Eleanor, don't do this. There's that wired mouse, but don't do that.
But look at the fine print at the bottom. You got to follow the asterisk down. You see that, Amnon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What does
Okay.
it-
Yeah.
What does it say?
Cha-ching.
Entry fee, $250.
Cha-ching.
We only have to get like 10 contestants. That's it.
Yeah.
And we're set. So, oh, well. All right. So today, a departure. Well, I did use some Amazon, but today we're going to look at B&H Photo.
Wow.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Yeah,
it was a little difficult to format their ads, but I came up with a way to do it.
Yeah, you did it. That's all that's important.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I did it. And then the next one I have is Micro Center. Why not?
Spoiler.
One thing.
Spoiler.
What?
You're a spoiler.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Well, I'm creating anticipation. It's the thing you learn when you do public speaking is you get up there and you tell them, here's
Let's
what I'm
go.
going to tell you. You tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Right?
Okay.
So there we go. All right. So Computers 2K Now specials from March 7th, 2021, starting with B&H. This is by no means, they have lots and lots and lots of deals. I mean, you just have to go and look. Now they do have, I think they do have a pickup location. I don't know if they actually have a showroom. I haven't been there in a long, long time. But the point is that all of the stuff you see on their webpage is shippable. The thing with Micro Center is you need to make sure as you search their site that you click the box that says shippable, because they do have store-only deals. Don't get fooled by that. They'll have a special with a pre-built one of their computers, and it will be an in-store only. They don't necessarily do it through shipping. All right, so we've got a Lenovo 15.6-inch iPad 3 multi-touch laptop for $499, which is $100 off the regular price. That's a i5 8 gig, 256 gig SSD. We've also got a Lenovo Idea Center 5 desktop computer, which is a i5 8 gig, 256 PCI SSD for $449, which is, I'm having a hard time reading the colors, $100 off. I looked for stuff that was at least a good bit off the regular price. Now we're run into some interesting products that I had not seen before. I didn't realize that there were as many Wi-Fi AX, Wi-Fi 6 devices out there that are inexpensive. All of the new Wi-Fi 6 routers that I looked at were $200-$300. So now it's good to see that they're producing AX products now. The difference I see between the really expensive ones and the moderately priced ones is that the expensive ones are tri-band, 3 frequencies, and the lower cost ones are dual band. And in a lot of cases, unless you have a special circumstance, it won't make any difference. What they're really looking at with the difference between AC and AX is the encryption scheme that they use and how much bandwidth they can pass at a specific speed. It's much higher with AX. There's lots of better error correction, better dealing with frequency interference and things like that. So you're better off with the AX standard. You do need to get a device with an AX transceiver. So we can talk about that. There's some options here. First thing we look at is a TP-Link Archer A7 for $59. That's a really good. It's pretty close to typical price, maybe a little bit less. That's 5 off. TP-Link Archer AX50. This is their new AX router, $149. And this is called the AX3000 dual band gigabit router, but AX
Standard
functionality. So if you have a desktop, now I didn't see any USB AX. That at least they don't have it at B&H, but they do have for desktops. They have an AX3000 dual band PCI Wi-Fi adapter. You install the PCI card in the machine. You have a bayonet connector to the antenna, which is external, and you can participate in the AX network with a laptop, with a desktop. But it is limited to PCIe.
Now remember that the AX and all that, this is just the wireless.
Just wireless. That's
so
correct.
even
But
if you don't need wireless today, you buy this one, it will work like any other router, but you would have the AX ready.
Wiggs is saying in the chat, Lenovo is the only way to go for laptops. I say it's one of the better choices.
Yep.
There are some other out there. I don't have a lot of experience with Acer. I know people have them. I have a lot of experience with Dell and HP. Good and bad. But for the most part, the Lenovo machines that I've dealt with in the last 2 years have been high-end customers, have bought the X1 Carbons or business class Lenovos. They've been very happy with them. They seem to be pretty solid. I have an older X1 Carbon, older generation, and it's used. I got it through my wife's bank. When they change technology, they get what the customers have, or the employees have the old machines, and I'm very happy with it. But I like Lenovo. So we've got for $49 that PCI adapter, but it also has Bluetooth 5 in it. So this is a unique adapter. That's nice, especially for a desktop. So Bluetooth 5. Okay, we've got an Acer 23.8-inch FreeSync gaming monitor for $99, which is $30 off the regular price. Got a Samsung 1 terabyte internal SSD drive for $109, which is $40 off the regular price. Brother printers, just don't see any sales. I guess eventually it will happen. But this is the entry-level Brother printer. This is probably the best price I've seen for this. I haven't seen any $99 ones yet. But this is the USB-connected duplex monochrome laser printer from Brother for $109. Got a Logitech MK345 wireless combo for $34.99, which is $15 off. Got a TrendNet 2-port USB KVM switch. Sometimes you just need this. I don't use, I do have a KVM on my lab desk here, the one I'm working at now, because I have 3 PCs here, and I have an open cable for working on machines that I bring to the desk. So I do have a 4-port USB KVM. Very handy if you're sharing mouse and keyboard combos, but make sure it has the display port, not display port technology, but the display type you need. If you have older monitors and they're VGA, if it's DVI, make sure you look at that first before you buy this, because otherwise you'll be having to get either new cables to connect to your monitor or adapters. So that's something to look at. We've got a Logitech C922 ProStream webcam for $99. Finally, the prices have come down on these. These were just sold out. There's lots of imitations of these. You can get them as cheap as $25. These are other companies that look very similar. But what I like about the Logitech stuff, the high-end stuff, the pro stuff, is that they have built-in H.264 encoding, I should say, which offloads the encoding of the video from the PC processor or the video card to the actual camera. So it makes it much easier and less impact on your system to encode higher resolution. So a nice feature. Most of the high-end, most of the ProStream or the C900 series are going to have this built in. Okay, so that's it for B&H. Micro Center. We've got bear with me a second here. The text that's coming up on my screen is so small, I had to lean into it here a little bit. Let me make that just a little bit bigger. Okay, we've got an HP Pavilion Desktop, Core i5, 16 gig of RAM, 512 SSD for $649, which is $50 off. Got an HP 23.8-inch all-in-one desktop with an AMD Ryzen 5. This is a 23.8-inch screen, 8 gig memory, 256 SSD for $659. That's $70 off. Couple laptops, got an HP 15.6 inch AMD Ryzen 3, 8 gig and 256 SSD for $399, which is 50 off. And finally, an HP i7 15.6 inch 16 gig 512 SSD for $899, which is $20 off. Not a big savings, but this represents some of the stuff they have at Micro Center. I was talking about how they have knockoffs of the Logitech cameras here. Here's one of them, Z Gear, full HD resolution webcam, $34.99. I don't remember what brand it was, but my daughter bought like 6 of these when they were converting her dance studio to Zoom, and they all worked great. There was no problem. We did buy all new laptops. They weren't high-end ones, but there were no issues at all with working with even these knockoff brands. So look at the reviews. You'll find a ton of them on Amazon and other places. $34.99. Wyze. If anybody's familiar with the Wyze company, it was a
terminal.
A startup. I think it was a Kickstarter startup. I don't remember exactly how they got going, but they make some really good products at great prices. And here we have the Wyzecam security camera with base station. You will need a base station. And these work with, they're battery powered, they charge up, they have motion capture, they've got all kinds of features. There's indoor, outdoor versions of this, but $59 for a starter kit. Very nice. We'll talk
you don't need the base station.
What's that?
You don't need the base station. You can use it.
You can use the base station. Yes, you can use it. So, but I mean,
some features,
it depends on what you're trying to do. And I got the one with the base station. So but I don't know if you can use the base station with other devices. It's Wi-Fi.
I think not. Yeah.
So it's designed just to use for the camera. So if you're installing a video, like say you're installing a security system using these devices, you probably want to use the base station and not use the Wi-Fi system. Okay, so $59 for that. Got a Dell 23.6 inch FreeSync monitor for $139. The Micro Center 256 gig USB flash drive for $21, which is $13 off the regular price. Got an HP DeskJet 3755 all-in-one printer for $99. Got a Micro Center. Is that actually branded? Their brand? Can't see the actual mini micro card itself. But this is a 256 SDXC Class 10, fast enough for streaming video, memory card with adapter for $25.99, say $14. And Wyze has come out with a bunch of new products. My son just installed the.
Wait.
What?
Are you saying that you can take that micro SD and put it into that little adapter to use it in devices that require?
Yeah, you put the big one in the little one? No. You could try. I think it won't work. But yeah, so if you've got something like a phone or the Wyze camera has a slot for a micro SD card for recording, local recording. So you don't have to record it to the cloud. You can actually record it locally, set it up and have it just if you want to just use motion capture and record it to the card. But you can also have it say, if it captures something, you can have it send you an alert, send a notification to your smartphone. But Wyze just came out with a wireless security camera and a bunch of other stuff like a doorbell camera for really inexpensive. So this is $34 for an indoor security camera. And they've got the outdoor expansion camera. This is the same as the one that came with the kit we saw before, the $59 kit. It's actually an outdoor camera, $49 for the camera by itself.
So can you use?
Their doorbell is like.
Can you use multiple devices with the one base station?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure what the limit is, but yes, you can use multiple devices. Yep. And the battery, if you're doing you're not doing full-time streaming, but you're doing motion capture. The battery can last weeks, depending on what you're doing. So, and it recharges with a little USB connector. That's it. You can plug it into any USB charging device. It's just a micro USB port on the back for charging. And finally, if you want to build a machine, they've got the Ryzen 5 5600X with a cooler for $299. You can get a ASRock AMD motherboard for $114.99. And this, I made sure it had the right chipset and had the right socket on it. And go with 16 gig of Crucial 1600 PC3 memory for $94.99. So what would that be? 300, 420. So if you have everything else you need besides this, you can upgrade to a Ryzen 5 for about $500. And that's at Micro Center. Finally, just looking at some stuff that's out there on Amazon. I like to go each time and say new products. What's new? What are you starting to carry on technology? And there'll be some weird stuff, but Casa smart plugs. They've got the wall mounted type. It has what's nice about this one is most of them have a button on the side to turn them on and off. But Casa does not require a hub and can still work with Alexa without a hub. So $17.99 for the wall plug, and it's a full 15 amp switch. So it can handle 15 amp. It's 1800 watts, but most people don't have 1800 watt appliances. The National Electrical Code only allows you to have appliances that you plug in up to 1500 watts so that you're not overloading a 15 amp circuit. A 15 amp circuit is actually 1800 watts. But this is a full 15 amp switch, meaning it can control up to 1500 consumer watts of power. You could use this for a heater, which is nice, or dehumidifier. So we've also got the Casa Smart Light Switch HS200. This is not a dimmer. It's just a light switch, but it's only $14.99. That's a good deal. That's normally $20. Amnon, you ever work on, or anybody ever have you set up a Nook, an Intel Nook?
No.
One of the microcomputers?
Oh. This
is one of it's their own form factor, of course, the way they build it. But these are nice little machines. This is a dual core i3, 8 gig of memory, 256 PCIe, solid state drive desktop for $319. So it's got USB ports on it. It's got DisplayPort on it. It's pretty full featured. Small form factor. A lot of people make these different versions of it. Lenovo makes some nice business ones. But $319, if you wanted to have everything else, you got your monitor, your keyboard, all that stuff. You can build a nice little machine here.
Or you want to use it as a media machine?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a media machine. This is for you, Amnon. The bug detector anti-spy RF signal detector sweeper. And this is the updated version. You have a cheaper version of it for about $79, which is the older version. But it's supposed to detect listening devices and bugs. Don't know how it works, don't know how well it works. But it says that it can be used. The newer version actually has a nicer display, but I don't think it gives you directional. The old one had looked like a dial on it that actually gave you direction. I don't think it was actually that. Could be misleading. But hey, this is a concern. I wonder if we went through the average home today, if you'd actually find any consumer products that would register under this and actually be detected. It'd be interesting to see. And finally, Amnon, for those moments when you've just had enough, you need to relax, but you'd like to listen to some music, you'd like to black out the world. These are sleep headphones. I actually have a pair of these. And it's a Bluetooth speaker in each of the bands on the side. There's an actual adjustable little speaker. So depending on the size, how you mount this and how the size of your head, you can actually move the speaker so they're sitting right over your ears. And they're very comfortable blackout blackout headphones. Washable. I would not wash it with the electronics in it, though. You can take it out. It does have a pocket, so you can remove the speakers and the actual electronics so you can wash it. But for traveling, you want to be able to black out noises or black out light. You're sleeping on a plane, you're in a hotel, whatever. And
But it's
$20.
only for side sleepers.
Only for side sleepers?
That's what it says. For side sleepers.
Sleeping headphones for side sleepers. But this looks like it would be something for a back sleeper. I have mine, and I've slept on my side with mine.
Anyway,
It's not uncomfortable. I mean, there is a little. The speaker is actually a little flat button that goes over here, and I wouldn't say it was super duper. But if you're there are times when laying there, I'm having trouble sleeping, and I want to be able to roll over without earbuds falling out. Put this on. It's comfortable. Listen to music. $23, $20.33, I should say. And that's it for today for
Very
Computers 2K Now specials. And so you give Amnon a call so you can register for the coloring contest.
Hey, Spence,
Yes.
those glasses, the lights go back and forth on the top.
Actually, those are buttons.
Oh, the blue
There's a
things
power
are
button.
buttons.
There's
Oh,
a
okay.
volume up and down button.
Oh.
And the actual light, there is a light that tells you that it's charging. I'm trying to remember. It's part of this somewhere on here. You would see the light that there was an orange light when it's charging, and I think it turns blue when it's fully charged. The cable actually comes out of one of the sides of the band. There's a little pocket that you can reach in and pull the cable out. And when you're not using it, you shove the cable in there so it's not actually against your head, which is good.
No cup holder, huh?
No cup
No
holder,
cup
no.
holder.
There is an antenna for detecting problems with your gas stove, though. So you can walk around the house, and if you have a problem with your gas stove making a problem, it'll beep to tell you.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
But you have to do it while you're wearing them. So you have to have somebody assist you walking around so you don't fall over something.
I thought at the beginning this was for lucid dreaming. You know, those where once you start your REM movement starts, then they start flashing lights.
Oh.
So you could be more, But
this is
I
just a
wonder-
simple, this is just a
this is just light blocking.
light
It's just
blocking.
the design,
This is not one of those things you put on your head to stop baldness. The LED helmet. Oh boy.
All right.
Oh, we do accept credit cards for the entry fee, by the way. And Zelle, Cash App, Pop Money, what's it, Venmo? We do them all.
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we reserve the right to use the finished product in any of our advertisements.
All right. Now listen to this. Are you noticing your battery life is draining faster than normal? That's on the phone. Tweeted Verizon Wireless customer support on Sunday. Despite its relentless promotion of 5G phones and the fact that it spent more than $45 billion bidding on a new, faster spectrum, Verizon support now is advising people on Twitter to turn off their phone's 5G access to preserve battery life. Does that make sense?
Say it again. Sorry, I was typing.
Oh, Verizon is telling people to turn off their 5G on their phones to preserve battery life.
I would think that it probably makes sense. I'm having battery problems with my iPhone, but it doesn't have 5G. But
that's a normal problem. With
but
iPhones.
this is an older phone. It was a refurb when my original phone had a swollen battery that they replaced it for me. But now I'm just overnight I reset my battery. I let it drain down to 0, and then you let it sit for 8 hours, and then you recharge it and do that again. It's supposed to recalibrate the battery. But turn off everything that is a background refresh on the iPhone. That saves a bunch of battery power.
There was something here. Apple last week introduced a new service that's designed to make it quick and easy for iCloud users to transfer their stored photos and videos to Google Photos. As outlined in an Apple support document, you can go to Apple's privacy website and sign in to see the transfer a copy of your data option. Now, copy. If you select this and go through all the steps, Apple will transfer your iCloud photos and videos to Google Photos. Transferring photos and videos from iCloud Photos does not remove the content you have stored on Apple, but it provides a backup method and stores a copy of the content on Google Photos. But then you can go and delete whatever, from iCloud if you need more space. It's just interesting that they're doing this. Do you think the programmers that did this were laughing and saying, "Ha ha, Google, you're giving it away, so we're going to take advantage of it"?
But they're not giving it away. That's the thing. Google has notified, right, that there is the unlimited storage for Google Photos is going to stop this year. That's why it's like, haha, Google is no longer free. Let's allow you to couple to Google. It's like copy to Google.
Oh,
it's like,
okay. Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Interesting. I was thinking, they're taking advantage of Google, but yeah, you're right. It's no longer free.
Yeah.
And Spence, if you have an iPhone and other people that have Apple fanboys, an iPhone hacking team has released a new jailbreak tool for almost every iPhone, including the most recent models, by using the same vulnerability that Apple last month said was under active attack by hackers. The Uncover team released its latest jailbreak last weekend, and says it works on iOS 11, iOS 14.3, which Apple released in December. So if you want to jailbreak your phone, you can. I don't know. I mean, I don't think. Do Apple people do that?
Jailbreak?
Yeah.
It's really not. I can't imagine a good reason to do it anymore. I jailbroke an iPad, and my original, very first generation iPad, I jailbroke it so that I could do some things, and I really wasn't. It's mainly because there were no new iOSs coming out for it, and I wanted to put some stuff on there that was not available through Apple, and it turned out. I don't know. Maybe people do, but I don't really see. What do you think, Al? Do you hear anybody that's still jailbreaking?
Well, it really depends on what you want to do. So there's an ecosystem of homebrew, they're called, solutions, stuff that Apple do not provide, right? Stuff like creating better automation that you control with behavior of the phone, stuff like that. So if you're into hacking in terms of you want to create like specialized, customized behaviors on the phone, that's probably the point where you'll jailbreak it. It's not as common as it used to be. It's the same thing with Androids as well, right? Rooting the phones on Android has become less of an issue for most users, but it's still something that that is of interest for those who want to get access to the hardware without the limitation that the OS puts in. So
it was interesting when I was exploring Spectrum Mobile as an alternative to Verizon. I thought the issue with the phone would be unlocking. And I went and looked at my iPhone. It says SIM not locked. But the issue is the actual access to and guaranteeing porting. You have to lock it for porting reasons. and go to Verizon and say, I'm going to port this. And then what they do is they flag it in the system so that it can be ported. Otherwise, the porting is locked by the actual provider. I thought it had to go through some other kind of process. I was looking at unlocking the phone, and I'm sure there are utilities that'll do it. It's not the same as it's not jailbreaking, but it still does something that the Apple probably doesn't want you to do without the permission of the mobile provider. But as it turns out, I don't have to.
That's why I buy them unlocked. I never buy them.
I wish I could. I didn't.
Yeah.
Apple was.
I think
weird
now
that
you
way.
can bring your own device to Verizon, but back in the day, that wasn't a possibility. Yeah.
Right.
Did I mention why we decided not? There was a couple of reasons why we decided not to use Spectrum Mobile, because the actual price with Verizon, once we drilled down and got rid of crap and consolidated and all that, was only $5 more a month than.
Really?
Yeah. And once I talked to the person who could actually help me and trim the prices down and all that and get rid of stuff that I didn't want. And then because they don't support all hardware at Spectrum.
Okay.
You can't buy a Moto, for example, phone. They don't support it. So my daughter just bought a brand new Motorola phone. Not supported.
Interesting.
So,
yeah,
only LG, Apple, and Google. Those are the only phones they support.
Interesting that they don't say it right up front.
No.
Or maybe they do in small print, huh?
Maybe.
Possible. All right. For you home automation people, did you ever hear about smart things?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Samsung. I used it in the past.
Okay. So if you own a 2013 Smart Things Hub, that's the original one, or a Smart Things Link for the NVIDIA Shield TV, your hardware will stop working on June 30th of this year. The device deprecation is part of the announced exodus from manufacturing and supporting its own hardware and the Groovy IDE that Samsung SmartThings announced last summer. SmartThings has set up a support page for customers still using those devices to help those users transition to newer hubs. That transition will also include a discount for users of the affected devices if they want to purchase the latest AOTech version of the SmartThings Hub. If you're still using either of the older devices, you should expect an email that will provide a discount code to buy the new hub. The smarttesthouse.com, that's where you can find out. That discount will be available until April 15th. Wait a second.
Well,
wait a second. It's going to stop working. Oh, so they want you to do it way before they stop the service. Yeah. Okay. You were going to say?
Well, I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
If you are in the business of doing a migration out of your hub, doesn't matter what brand, ditch any brand name and just go with Home Assistant, and you will be in a much better position.
You'll have control.
You'll have full control. You'll decide when to retire things. You'll decide when to upgrade, what to upgrade. It's a much more, from my experience, it's a much more stable experience. Even though it is a community-based, open source based solution, it is rock solid. Yes, there are issues. You can decide whether to, dive into an adventure by reading the release notes and understanding what you're upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, even if you don't upgrade, usually it's just perfect. I don't know. It's like there is zero hardware or software manufacturer that produce perfect
Right.
application and hardware, right? So that goes for open source as well, but that especially goes for so SmartThings. That 2013 model you're talking about, that was started by a very small company before Samsung bought it. Samsung bought it, I think, around 2014, if I remember the timeline correctly. I bought mine directly from the company on their first Kickstarter, and so that was the first iteration. I have it. By the way, you know where that hub is right now? It's in Uzi's house, because he was planning on using it. Never happened.
Mm.
So yeah. So when it was part of that small company that had the feeling and the community around it was so active that it was the best solution at that time. But since then, the projects like OpenHub and Home Assistant, they've grown, they've flourished, and I can say hands down, the best home automation solution today is Home Assistant. There's no doubt about it, right? And if you want to roll your own, you can do it on a PC server, you can do it on a Raspberry Pi, you can do it on a wide range of hardwares that are pretty easy to get a hand on. They've actually came out with a Raspberry Pi based hardware kit with a nice look, a finished designed look that you can buy and support the project that way. So if you want like a dedicated box that looks nice, you can even do that. It's supposed to ship April. So even if you are stuck in the Samsung ecosystem or the Philips ecosystem or the Link ecosystem or
Whichever.
whichever, right? Trust me, you can transition to the Home Assistant and you will never look back. It's and it frees you completely. That's the only tip I have. So don't go with Samsung's recommendation of upgrading and buying the discounted solution. Buy the free one.
Yeah, because sooner or later that solution will also be
Exactly.
terminated. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Another warning here for the few of you that use it. In a message to the Linux kernel mailing list last Wednesday, founding developer Linus Torvald warned the world not to use the 5.12-RC1 kernel in his public Git tree. So he's saying don't use, most people don't use RC, release candidate kernel, but a lot of people that like to tinker do. So he said, don't use it.
Yeah, well, the problem is rather simple there. The reason he's sending out that newsletter, that to the news group, the mail group, was
the
mail list. Yeah, there's a problem that they discovered that happens in that version, in that RC1. It's something that eluded testing at first because it requires a complex setup. It has to do only with swap files and not swap partitions. It's a bad bug. It's like it's catastrophic if you use a swap file, but using swap file is a rarity. It's not something common. And the reason he issued that is also because there were some oddities about how to manage the code that is pulling. And so he wanted to make that clear. It was actually an interesting read. When you sent me that link, I went to the source and read the message. And interestingly enough, it wasn't more technical than the news article. It was even less technical and very clear into the impact, why he's sending, explaining things, right? So it's all, they're already fixing it in the
Okay.
next iteration, but
Yeah.
and usually Linux release candidates are very solid. But this is a very catastrophic bug that if it should continue to propagate, right, it's important to nip it in the bud, and that's why the message. And it was, yeah, it was interesting
Oh.
peering into this process, seeing how they work.
All right. And now something that will touch a lot of people. At least 30,000 organizations across the United States, including a significant number of small businesses, towns, cities, and local governments, have over the past few days been hacked by an unusually aggressive Chinese cyber espionage unit that's focused on stealing email from victim organizations. Multiple sources say that told
The exchange
Krebs on
vulnerability.
Secure. Yeah. The espionage group is exploiting 4 newly discovered flaws in Microsoft Exchange servers, email software, and has seeded hundreds of thousands of victim organizations worldwide with tools that give the attackers total remote control over affected systems. Now, as a outcome from this, there's another article that says the U.S. has issued an emergency warning after Microsoft said it caught China hacking into its mail and calendar server program called Exchange. The perpetrator, Microsoft said, is in a blog post, is a hacker group that the company has high confidence in working for the Chinese government and primarily spies on American targets. The latest software updates for Exchange blocks the hackers, prompting the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency to issue a rare emergency directive that requires all government networks to do so. So, if you are using Exchange and your people don't know it, which I highly doubt anybody that is in charge of maintaining Exchange servers should know about this. You need to let them know that they need to do an update right away. That's amazing that there are 4 different flaws that allow you to do this, and they're getting smarter. Look now, they didn't go in and do stuff. They didn't steal anything. They just seeded a lot, hundreds of thousands.
No, they
with
stole. They
tools.
stole.
Yeah, I'm sure they did
stole.
from here and there, but
And there's one very important aspect to this. Usually, when it comes to vulnerability publications like this, is we have a vulnerability, right? We have it usually goes like this: we have a vulnerability, we have not seen it being used in the wild, right? Patch it before it becomes a thing.
Yeah,
and then what you see a race of the hackers trying to use the vulnerability while it's still open.
it's still there. Yeah,
right. And this one is Microsoft only uncovered that vulnerability after it has been used widely by this hacker group. Right. Now, this affects only on-premises Exchange servers. It does not affect Office 365.
No.
So if your company is using an Office 365 solution, so you don't have to worry. It doesn't mean that if you're using Outlook, that's your case. Just make sure that if they're using Exchange and they haven't heard about it, smack them in the head, because this is important.
If your company actually hosting their own Exchange server,
which is very common, right? Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's very common. There's millions of companies like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and the real problem is that once this publication comes out, right, regardless of the tens of thousands that have already been hit, there is going to be a race now, right? And what this vulnerability allows, it allows the attacker, because it allows such broad control, the attackers, they can install a backdoor that once the vulnerability is fixed, that backdoor
Yeah.
is still open.
It,
So
it's
it's not
possible.
enough, right? So if it's not enough to say, okay, I'm patched and I'm done.
Right.
You need to actively search for anything unusual in your network to figure out if things are leaking out, right? So it's a big thing.
It's not an easy task. It's
No, this is one. I'm gonna plug my the company I work for,
Mhm.
right? Varonis. They are actually addressing situations like these where to detect the unknown activities of unknown
actors.
risks.
Yeah.
Actors, right? Yeah, whether
Yeah.
they're internal or external, right? So stuff like that. And we've seen, and I'm guessing I haven't heard anything internally. I'm not allowed anyway, even if I had. But I'm really waiting for our guys, our security guys, the ones that works with our customers, to come out with some sort of report. Because if our product encountered any of these hacks, it'll be very, very interesting to see the results and whether our product was able to react to it. Because if they have, then it'll be a big thing for us.
Yeah. Let's hope that nothing serious surfaces in the future that says, oh yeah, they got millions and millions of.
Oh, trust me, we're let's put it this way: the Experian breach, the Target
Mhm,
breach, I
mhm.
think they're going to be small compared to the
Wow.
overall effect of what we hear just from the Microsoft
Mm.
publication of
Interesting.
they've already positioned themselves in a point where, right, they said already there are tens of thousands of affected companies,
Yeah.
right? And obviously Microsoft is in no position to state which companies.
Right.
So now these companies will go out with, right, they're probably flooding the FBI because they, by law, they need to inform the FBI
Mhm.
of breach, right? So it's going to be a hell, a news storm.
Do you think there's going to be a big migration now from hosting your own to just go to Office 365 because somebody else?
I mean, maybe, but let's put it this way: Microsoft is probably happy for that part, right?
Yeah, but I'll bet that Microsoft themselves, with their Office 365 Exchange, I mean, they're running their own Exchange.
Yeah, but they weren't vulnerable.
How do you
So
know?
that's what they stated,
Well,
flat out,
yeah.
right? They can't lie, because if they lie and get caught on that lie, it is that. I mean, this is one knee on the neck they don't want. Right?
How common are third-party Exchange integrations? Do they do? I know a company that my son works for does a software, cloud-based software that uses Exchange, integrates with Exchange because it's a scheduling tool. It's a lot of different things for services companies to use when they provide service, where they use, they have an integration into Exchange, they have an integration into a bunch of other Microsoft stuff.
Right.
So how common is that? Is that the reason why people would run their own Exchange, because they have custom stuff that they use?
No, you can run the custom stuff with cloud-based Exchange as well.
You can. Okay. Well, that was the question. I wasn't sure.
But it's control.
So the reason to run a local, first of all, up until 4 or 5 years ago, if you used Exchange, it was on premises, right?
Yeah.
The online offering of Exchange for organizations, that started
Ooh,
roughly 6 years ago, something like that, right?
what do you mean?
It's
Ex-
online exchange, like your
online
complete
exchange. Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like where Microsoft hosts Exchange completely on Azure's for you, right? Where you managed your Active Directory there and everything, like complete solution of being completely online. I'm not talking about Outlook.com. Outlook.com is goes way a bit for probably 15 years, but enterprises moving completely to the cloud, right, for their Exchange solution, that's less. That's about 6 years, I'm guessing. So still running on-prem is very, very it's usually the default state, especially for large organizations, because they want their data within their own data centers. They don't want it exposed on cloud services. But here's one point where Microsoft is, I'm guessing Microsoft for the next couple of years, they're gonna sell this vulnerability, right? Use it for moving people to the cloud, showing how
Right.
they are less vulnerable there. But it's their own software, and that's why the sell is going to be tough.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah. This one is a tough one.
Yeah.
This one is really a tough one.
Well, I still have Amnon. I still have those rack-mounted servers. Remember those that I had?
Which
I
one?
still have Exchange. Oh gosh, how long ago was it?
Ish.
I had a test bed environment because we were doing integrations with click to call from inside of Exchange.
Yeah.
Years and years ago. I mean, this is so obsolete. It's probably not.
I've got some of them here of yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. All right. And here's something else. Netflix last week launched Fast Laughs, a new feature for its mobile apps that presents a string of comedy clips from its stand-up specials, TV series, and movies. Netflix Fast Laughs, say that 3 times fast, displays full screen vertical video in an auto-playing feed, borrowing a page from apps like TikTok, and lets users share their favorite bits with friends and social media. The company says the section will provide up to 100 curated clips per day. The main goal, obviously, is to nail up yet another entry point for Netflix subscriptions to find new content to binge on. So they're creating something for short videos.
So you need to go install an app
Yeah.
that is showing you promotional videos of videos within Netflix.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to work.
People are going to do it. You watch. People will do it.
I'm thinking they're going to do it and then it's going to stop. It's this is a fad that will last a week, no more. Unless they create some sort of interaction and people put their own content into it.
Maybe there's a goal to do something quick and get it over with.
I mean, if they would have published it on TikTok, that's something completely different, right? You're just part of the stream. That would make sense. Maybe as sponsored content, or maybe but here you download an app to see commercials. Basically, doesn't add up. Sorry.
Let's see what else we have here that we didn't. Reddit is getting ready to go public, apparently. They hired a CFO to straighten out all the books and make it look good for an IPO. Now, here's something about Brave. 2 years after publicly launching a privacy-focused browser, Brave, founded by former Mozilla executive Brendan H., is taking on Google's search business too. The announcements of Brave Search puts the upstart in the rare position of taking on both Google's browser and search dominance. Brennan also said that Brave Search, which has opened a wait list and will launch in the first half of the year, won't track or profile people who use it. So Brave is slowly expanding features, and who knows? I found out lately. I started using DuckDuck Go,
I've been using it for a while.
and I went back to Google because a lot of the stuff I was looking for did not come up. And going to Google and there's a bunch of stuff about it.
You have to type in the special code.
Yeah.
So
Did you know
yeah,
about that?
that's exactly what I was about to say. DuckDuckGo, I still use it, and whenever I can't find something on DuckDuckGo,
Right.
the thing is that switching to another search engine is as easy as adding what they call the bang codes. So you type in a search term and you can't find it. You add exclamation point G, right? And that searches it in Google and shows you the results in Google.
Oh, really?
You type exclamation point wiki, it search inside Wikipedia. You type exclamation point BI, it goes into Bing images. So there's a whole list of bang codes. It's called the exclamation point. It's called a bang also. So you can always make DuckDuckGo your default, and the moment you can't find anything, all you need to do is just add this simple string right
at the end.
Let's search in Google, and you don't need to go to Google, type it again, right? So
interesting.
So I definitely recommend sticking with DuckDuckGo. They're still, I think, the best solution out there. Yes, they don't have all of the results like the others, and they're better at some things than others, but they make it so it's very comfortable to use, even if you're not exclusively using them. I think that's,
so.
I really like that approach.
That list works only when you are on DuckDuckGo.
From within the DuckDuckGo search, right?
Yeah.
You just add that, and yeah, I'll put the link to the bang codes.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Wow.
So Bang A goes to Amazon, right? Bang eBay, search inside eBay. So you don't need to leave your search, and especially if you make it the default search engine for the browser, that becomes your your new search language, right? Because that you don't need to teach the browser anything. The search engine is already going to pass it to the right site.
What's the code for TikTok?
Probably exists there.
TT.
Oh boy.
All right. So anything else?
Nope. I actually have to run. We have Lucas's birthday party today, and I was just reminded I need to get ready to go out the door.
All right. So, Gal, anything else you want to add while we are still on the air?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And Nick, I hope you're gonna find your voice this evening for Against the Norm. But good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dina, Arlette and Micha, Eleanor, thanks for calling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Remember, we're on Roku. Tonight at 7, Nick does his AT&T show, Against the Norm, at atnshow.com. And you can listen to it also if you are on in Wilmington. And Tuesday evening at 7, Nick does his Infection podcast on twitch.tv/Infection podcast. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.